I watched it, but because Ana de Armas was in it. Also, something amazing. Speaking of another tangent, dude. Oh, do you like the John Wick movies?
I have not seen the John Wick movies.
Oh, well, whenever you're in an action movie, dude. So it's basically like it's just like, as my dad would say, shoot 'em up, kill 'em up, action fighting.
Correct.
Yeah, but dude, they're doing a spin-off series with Ana de Armas as the main character. I was like, huh? Oh my god, she's my hall pass.
If you say so.
Guys, what's up? Future Ben here. This is like the 10th time that I've done this intro take, so I'm not gonna cut anything else out. This is gonna be the last take. So, Chris was on this week. It was awesome. It was fun. We talked about some cool things, and just stay tuned for the next couple episodes I have coming out. I have Third Wheeling after this episode coming out, and then I have another podcast where it's me and two guests, and then after that is episode 25. So I can't believe I made it to 25 episodes. Episode 25 is going to be a big banger as well. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. Once again, the Spotify numbers, the followers, if I could get those up, that'd be great. And YouTube's doing good. And yeah, I'll stop talking, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks. Peace. Guys, what's up? This is The Last House on the Left. This is where I chop it up with my friends, kill time, and speak what's on my mind. And today I have an old friend, Chris Bourgeois, in the house. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Been living my quiet little life in my corner of this kind of quiet town. How you been?
Yeah, good, man. I told my friend Guy a couple podcasts back that it's weird when like I have everything set up for the podcast ready to go, which rarely happens because I usually have to like toil and suffer with it. But then I have to do like 2 hellos to someone when I start a podcast, so it's always like, oh, it feels so uncomfortable. But it's just part of the process, and it's interesting too, man. Because it never like you always think of like different ways that you can like intro videos and intro someone, and I got to get better in that area.
Yeah, start off with the old YouTuber energy. What up, guys? Today we're going to go talk to people, talk to old friends, and yeah.
Nice, man. Nice. Where are your glasses?
Ah, yes, that was the first thing you said to me when I walked in.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been almost 3 months now. Back in November, I got LASIK surgery.
Really?
Yeah.
Just staring at, for people that aren't watching the video, I'm just staring into Chris's lovely blue eyes. So LASIK surgery, tell me about that.
Yeah, so it's something I've been kind of wanting to do, but I really got on it a couple years ago. Once I started realizing I should have like a doctor and a dentist and all this stuff. So I actually had someone I could ask, hey, where should I go for this? And he gave me a referral. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I went through that process, and yeah, now I can see things without glasses. It's wild.
So were you near farted? What did I just say?
I always
near
fart
farted.
near. What are you talking about?
Wow, dude, that shows how I had a long day. Are you nearsighted or farsighted?
I was nearsighted, but I mean, my vision was terrible at really any distance. But now it is now it's about, I don't know, somewhere between 2020 and 2015.
Wow.
So
I always remember like Joe Fournier would always be like, I have 20/20 vision.
he loves saying that, or like 2010 or
It's
something.
never been proven though, right?
I don't know. I never saw him with any eye charts, so
Yeah, that's fair. Oh my gosh, I'll send you one of the other podcasts where I at the end of this one I did with Shane, I give the story about how I basically failed the eye test for FedEx because I had to get like my license renewed. And the reason how I found out was like, or how I got past it is like I saw the person like in front of me, like I heard them say the words of the correlation of like the letters and numbers.
oh yeah.
And then it repeated the same thing, and I was like, oh, okay, because you know how they have all the different lines,
Mm-hmm.
and then depending upon like which one. I think if you can read past, if you can't read the third line, like you're basically screwed.
Yeah.
And then I basically lied. I was like, oh, because the first time I was brought in, I failed it. I was like, oh, I don't have my glasses. Like, your glasses you haven't worn in 6 years. It's funny you mentioned like doing all the adult stuff, because I'm like, dude, I haven't been to the dentist. It's so bad. I haven't been in the dentist in like a year and a half, maybe more. And then I also haven't I've been trying to I need to get glasses just because like my eyes are fatigued at the end of the night, man. Oftentimes when I'm just like crashing, and it's funny, every couple months I just forget how lovely it is coming home from a long day of work. Like, you get your food or whatever, and then you're just on your you're just watching Netflix or whatever platform for like 2 or 3 hours, and then you fall asleep at midnight and rinse repeat, you know.
Yeah.
So you were saying about LASIK surgery. So is that like, did you have to be put under, or like? How
So
does that work?
it's a pretty short.
Really
surgery.
quickly too, to interrupt you. You look so different, dude. Like, I'm not used to it's a little weird, honestly. It's throwing me off. Sorry, but continue.
Yeah, it's definitely taking some getting used to. I still do have it. It's like I'm wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Like if I'm looking down, like, oh gotta fix my glasses. They start sliding up. Oh, they're not there. But it's a pretty quick surgery. It's only like 20 minutes. Give or
Really?
take. Yeah. So basically what happened, like, day of, you go in, you take like a couple pills. I forget what they were. Probably some sort of just relaxer.
Yeah.
And you go into the little room and you lie down, and they handed me a teddy bear to hang on to. I was like, all right, this is my friend now.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just kind of, I don't feel like I don't really remember everything, but some part, the main sequence is, it starts, they kind of like tape one eye open so you can't blink.
Oh.
Which is an interesting experience, because it just leads to my eye constantly like twitching.
Oh yeah, literally, man.
Yeah, and a couple times the surgeon was like, "Just try not to blink. Like, hang in there."
And you're just like
I'm doing my best, doc. I'm doing my best.
Oh man.
But they put like a ring on your eye, and kind of apply a pressure, and then you kind of like lose vision in it. Kind of like you're seeing stars kind of vibe.
Sure.
And then a machine basically goes and cuts open the protective cover of your eye so that they can actually get to the cornea underneath. And they do that, and then they do the actual laser part, which is like 10 to 15 seconds, and just the laser just goes pew 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 while you look at like a dot.
Yeah.
And then it smells like something is burning because it's your eye that's burning.
Wow, dude. But it doesn't hurt.
No, you don't have any feeling in your eye to begin with. It's just, but not particularly. No, I don't believe so. But it was uncomfortable in the moment, but coming out the other side, I was very happy with it.
Yeah.
There's still points, particularly like driving at night, when you can see, okay, my eyes.
Glare?
Yeah, there's like a halo effect is what they call it, especially like with bright headlights and stuff. But that's gotten better. And I mean, that's still got a little bit of healing to go, but especially during like the day and bright lights, it's perfect. I can look and I can see, individual letters on like the monitor and signs, and it's great.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, because when you didn't have your glasses on, you were like blind as a bat, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I can see. Oh, yep. There's a head.
Did you ever hear the story on me losing my first pair of glasses ever?
Was that the story where you were mowing the lawn?
I saw a snake.
And then
like ran away, like literally like a little girl. And
then
then I didn't even realize my glasses. I don't think I ever mentioned it on this podcast. My glasses, I didn't even know they like flew off my head. Probably because they're like one of those like looser ones, frames from BJ's, where it's like You know, it sucks. I just got some sunglasses too, and I put it in my backpack over there, and we have like a mini TSA going through the FedEx building, and I think I must have put my backpack like face down or whatever, but my glasses now are kind of like all messy and whatever. Like I'm trying to put on the whole look together. One of our old classmates, Keegan, is getting married to this girl Lyric in Atlanta, so he flies for Delta Airlines. He like got his whole dream.
That sounds
came
right
true.
for him.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting on a random note? Have you been hearing all these stories about these like planes crashing?
I did see
What is with that, man? I think that's so odd.
I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into it.
Yeah, a couple of the main podcasts that I listen to, because the one that happened was the one that I'm thinking of currently is the one where just a commercial like liner was like coming in, and it hit a Black Hawk, and there was like 67 people on the plane.
Oof.
And for some reason, like the Black Hawk just like, I don't know what was going on, but I just saw this statistic from this other podcast I follow, called The Unusual Suspects, and they're kind of almost like a fringe conspiracy theory
Nice
podcast. So I'm like, sometimes when they're bringing stuff up, they're just like this one, like one of their producers that they give a mic to is like, oh, I'm afraid to fly. Because I have to go on a trip like recently. I'm like, dude, let me look this up, Chris. What do you think the statistics are on like you being on a plane and it crashes? It has to be ridiculously low, right?
I mean, the thing people like to throw out is it's statistically, you're less likely to crash in an airplane than in a car just driving.
Really?
Yeah, just from the just how many people an airplane can hold. And how many flights just go like unnoticed. That being said, I'd rather crash in a car than in an airplane. But
yeah, you have a little bit. All right, I'm pulling it up here. So let's just go with the AI overview because it's easy. The odds of dying in a plane crash are very low, and flying is generally considered one of the safest ways to travel. There we go. Odds of a plane crash. A chance of dying in a plane crash in the United States is about 1 in 11 million. The chance of being in a plane crash is about 1 in 260,000. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, for the United States specifically. Oh, because I guess our ways of going things are supposedly better.
that's probably just where it's pulling the data from. Although I wouldn't necessarily trust Google's summary AI.
Yeah, and
successfully summarize anything.
Right. But hey, just like you were saying a second ago, you're about 200 or 2,000 times more likely to get in a motor vehicle crash than die in a plane crash. That's interesting. Yeah. Other aviation safety statistics. In 2023, the accident rate was 0.8 accidents per 1 million flights. Yeah, that's incredible. But that's what sucks is that like because of social media and whatnot these days, you can see like just one terrible thing. Like think how that's another thing I could maybe look up is how many flights are there in a day in America.
There's quite a lot.
Traffic here, but how many flights? Yeah, here we go. 45,000 flights in 2.9.
I would have guessed way under that. I was thinking
really?
like 10,000.
I don't know, because think about how...
There's a lot of planes.
How many airports are there in America, you think?
At least 4.
Airports in America. I should have... Wow, that was bad spelling. How many airports? Jeez, spelt it wrong again. Oh, wow. Almost 20,000 airports. Okay, but about 5,000 are public airports.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I imagine there's a lot of just like private like airstrips.
Yeah, like Taylor Swift when she's going to the Chiefs game.
Yeah.
And one of her gigs, you know. Do you watch any of the Super Bowl?
No, I completely forgot about it until I woke up the day after, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that happened."
I missed everything. Dude, me and you were together, right, when we saw the 28-3 comeback?
Yeah, I remember your dad was very upset.
Oh,
and
I was
about ready to just leave.
Oh, my dad was just being so for any listeners. What was that year when they won?
When was it?
Wasn't it 2 years before Tom went to Tampa Bay?
No, I don't remember the year.
So we'll just keep looking things up, guys. 20-3.
I want to say like 2018. I have no idea.
'Terrible English.
2017.
Okay, so this was 1 year right after high school when we graduated. Because me and Chris went to school together, and I've known Chris for a long time. I just got a whiff
I've
of that
known him
candle.
for longer. No.
Well, it's funny, man. I always have different, or I've had like a lot recently. I'd like to go and start moving outward onto like guests, maybe people I don't know as well, covering certain topics, which requires obviously a lot more research. I have to have more prepared questions. Like I said, I have maybe a couple things we could talk about, but also we're just catching up because, like I said, I don't see you as much. But when basically an old family friend of ours, or basically from our church, like I used to be my boss, they would host. Him and his wife would host the Super Bowl at their place, and I remember, like as Chris said, when the Patriots were down 28-3 at halftime, it's like, dude, that is arguably the greatest, one of the greatest. It is probably the greatest comeback of all time because it's just impossible. When it comes to football, is just a different game. It's like another big reason why I wasn't going to watch the Super Bowl this year because there's all this, speaking of conspiracies, like kind of with the Chiefs, how they've won, like, so their record this year is 15-2, but it wasn't like the record really, the team wasn't as good as their record showed. They won a lot of games by just a couple points, and they only broke 30 like twice in the regular season, which is pretty unheard of when you have a guy like Mahomes and whatever. So it's kind of a cheap season. But I think there was this first play where in the Super Bowl where basically the Chiefs are known for getting a ton of calls because like Patrick Mahomes, like you can't touch him at all. So all these guys are like rushing the quarterback and trying to put pressure on the defense, like, and Mahomes, when he can run like really well, but he's definitely like I consider him like the Steph Curry of the NFL in the way where like nobody wants to like. I'm like, dude, he just needs to get rocked. And I'm gonna see if I can find a video of this Super Bowl. I want to see. Oh yeah, here we go, Chris. Ready? So he's. Look at this. Just right in the face mask. They actually didn't call this. And yeah, man, it was just like, holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of a hit. My understanding of the rule is that you can push a face mask. You can't grab it, and it didn't really look like it grabbed it. I don't know. That seems pretty clean to me, and it looks pretty funny. So
I'm gonna see if I can video of this. So so this call. Oh, you gotta love the. Holy cow, the audio is still terrible here. So long story short, so this is the very beginning of the game, right?
Yep.
And so when it comes to,
this is 2023.
Is this 2023?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. You're right. Good eyes, Chris. Oh, it's this one. Sorry. So they hike it, right? And this was on 4th and 2. Eagles threw this really quickly before he catches it. Eagles were 4th and 2 on their own 50, and they're going for it.
Yep.
And it's like, dude, why would you do that? Like, this is the first like possession they had.
That's pretty aggressive.
Super ballsy. And so this happens, right? So, and this looks like, when you look at this in real time, it doesn't look bad at all, right? So they might show from one other angle. Yeah, look here, right? So he does that. Barely, the guy was already falling down. Like, he already had him beat. And they overturned this call. And Philly, it became like 4th and I don't know how many yards is it. It's at least 5, maybe 10, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can see how under a review, you look at the way his head gets kind of like twisted a little bit.
I know, but dude, I don't think they can call that in the Super Bowl. Obviously, I'm biased against the Chiefs. Like, I was hoping when Mahomes got rocked, like I showed you in that video, I was like, holy cow. I was like cheering. Because I'm like, dude, you can't. You got to, like, get up into someone's, like, business and really play, like, some defense.
Yeah, I think they baby quarterbacks too much anyways.
Yeah. Dude, and even there's this amazing. Have you seen this is probably one of the worst hits that this is nuts, Chris. So this is probably like years and years and years ago. Yeah. Watch him get rocked. Ready?
Oh my
dude, what?
goodness.
That was. So Tom Brady, surprisingly, he got up from that hit and was like and walked it off like a champ.
As you should.
But it's like, dude, the NFL, man, those people they're ready to do business, man. Like, I wonder, think about this. The average lifespan of a running back in the NFL is what, 2 to 3 years? It's like super short. Now, they'll have these like random guys like Saquon Barkley and then there's all the old running backs like LaDainian Tomlinson and Adrian Peterson, which somehow they just take care of their body and diet like crazy and make it work. But just the amount of beatings you get on your body. Also, that's why football players only play once a week.
Yeah. They're also one of the sports where it's like the playoffs aren't like best of 7.
Yeah,
Thinking
I know,
like
right?
Hockey or basketball or.
Imagine that for football. That'd be crazy. But that's the funny thing, though, because then you can have these freak games where someone can just choke like crazy and just like. So, did you hear who won?
I looked up the score. I think it was the Eagles that won, right? It
yeah,
was like
but
40-22 or something.
Dude, so when I left, it was like 37. At one point, it was 33-0, and it was like. Man, dude, like, this is a bad Super Bowl. They were just getting – Mahomes was throwing interceptions. They couldn't get in a rhythm. And like I said, Mahomes doesn't throw a lot of interceptions and whatnot. But I think people were also – it's amazing. Do you know anyone that does, like, sports betting?
No.
No? I don't really understand it either because I'm like, dude, if I start sports betting, it's – just going to go downhill from there.
Yeah, I imagine that's a quick way to lose a lot of money real fast.
Yeah. But, dude, the bets that they would do for some of these things, man, are nuts. Like, one of the bets that I saw, it's like, what color is the Gatorade going to be that they throw on the coach? They literally do bets for that.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's another one that's like, who's going to be shown more, like Trump or Taylor Swift?
Swift, obviously.
I guess, like, because Trump was at this game, it was the first first ever Super Bowl where Trump was there, which I thought was so interesting. Out of curiosity, what do you like I said, we haven't really seen each other in forever. Did you want to touch on, or did you have any thoughts about like the whole election and everything happened? We don't have to get super political or whatever. I'm just I did a podcast actually with Joe and Shane, and we talked about a ton of stuff regarding the election. But I'm glad it's over, man. It was a lot, and focusing, and then, like he said, she said, all these different creators and podcasts and political pundits. It's like hard to keep track, and it's exhausting.
It just seems not worth it to me to actively follow the exact like, oh, he said this thing in this debate or at this rally, and then he's like, oh, I remember one comment like 2016 where it's like, oh, Trump has small hands. Which means his wiener is small. You wouldn't want a small wiener guy for president. And it's like, what the heck is this?
Dude, the crazier, did you see now, I'm kind of proving your point. But when the first debate between like Trump and Biden, there's one point where that's when like unfortunately Biden's decline was like really starting to show. Mm-hmm. And they're arguing about who's better at golf.
Oh, I think I saw a
clip
clip of that.
This is freaking crazy. And then the next debate, when they got, the Democratic Party did their anti-democratic thing, and freaking got him out of there. And after that bad of a showing, it is kind of what it is. But Trump and Kamala, I'm trying to think of how she phrased it. She's like, she was implying that, you can go down the road to Trump's rally, which is like a smaller rally than mine. I'm just like, dude, that's funny. Just the thought itself. I'm not even trying to like show. I mean, I guess I've already showed my political cards in the other podcast, but it's so interesting that it's like, dude, is this really like? There's other things to focus on, like
my numbers are bigger than yours.
Yeah, and my golf swing is whatever. Biden's like, oh, I'm an handicap, and Trump's like, you're not. I got it. Well, I don't know. I won't look it up, but because my audio is jack. Anyways, it's so interesting how I when I look at like looking back on all the whole political climate or whatever. Do you mind if I asked if you voted?
I did not vote.
Yeah, no. That's funny. Was it like by choice?
Partially, but also partially I just completely forgot.
Just like you forgot about the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah,
Same difference.
So it's like I go into work and then one of my coworkers is just like, "Hey, did you vote this morning?" I'm like, "No, I should do that, on my drive home." And then I'm drive home and I get home and it's like 5, like 6 or something. It's like, "Oh, I should have done that." And I look, it's like, "Oh, it closes like 10 minutes ago."
Yeah, it is what it is, man.
I'm also just not that invested in voting because I can't morally justify voting for either candidates most of the time.
Yeah.
And I mean that there's definitely arguments to be made of like vote for who aligns with your policies better or whatever, but I don't believe in choosing the lesser of two evils.
Interesting. That's because that was I feel like I heard that phrase, the lesser of two evils, in 2016 with Trump and Hillary.
I'm sure it is said many times over every election.
That is a great point. Yeah. Well, I feel like when it comes to, I mean, that's when it started to get really bad though. Like the whole just political derision and like just the rising. I'm having a brain fart. Sorry. The rising, just like, angst between both parties and whatever. And I'm thinking it's really interesting because with some of my friends, even that it's like, dude, I'm not a Trumper at all. Mm-hmm. Like I think I'm like, dude, if you follow Jesus, you do all this stuff, in my own personal like thoughts and research itself, I don't even think like Trump is that much of a. I mean, he has like a lot of Republican values, but he's kind of really like an old school Democrat. And I mentioned this on the last podcast I did with the guys, is that in I think like 20 years ago, Trump went on this this very. It's kind of like have you heard of The View?
Yeah.
Basically, it's like now, especially
Is
with
that the one with the 5 ladies that's just like yapping?
Yeah, and they're all kind of think the same way, but they're like kind of very progressive and whatnot. So 20 years ago, they're all like saying hi to Donald Trump and kissing him on the cheek, doing the Hollywood thing, and now they're just like, oh, he's fill in the blank, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's just how not only in politics, just a lot of the country is just kind of focused on the division of the us versus them.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, some of that's just like lighthearted fun. Like sports fans is like, oh, boo the Yankees, up with the Red Sox, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
but it extends. Like there's that mentality is just so prevalent, so that even especially in politics is really where each side is just trying to demonize each other and it just does not look good.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not really appealing. Yeah, I've honestly, in my humble opinion, I feel like Trump that's how he won in 2016. I think he was just like he definitely like didn't have a filter, and it wasn't like whenever he would speak, you knew that it was his opinions, and it wasn't like someone just saying or telling him what to do. So that's why I think it was very attractive for people. Once again, I appreciate you talking about some of these things because we didn't like discuss it beforehand. I just think it's interesting how I really do feel like though the insult stuff like that and how like it's just so open season now with all that stuff. I'm like that is because of Trump. Like it's very much like think about even like the people beforehand. Like there's this old video. I should send it to you. I actually saw this on Big Surprise Joe Rogan a while back. But him and this comedian Tim Dillon were reacting to something Bill Clinton was saying a while back. But even just essentially the video they reacted to was, well, this is slightly different, but basically Bill Clinton was giving like a super like unifying speech or whatever, and was talking about like even unifying like just like races and different things. But even if you look at anyways, going back to when we were talking about the debates like back with Mitt Romney and like John McCain, like Obama, Bill Clinton, all this stuff, Reagan, it's like it was there was still like a lot of class involved, and now it's just like do everything but not swear, Yeah.
Yeah, innuendos are fine, but foul language, no.
I know, right? Yeah, and it's tough because these days, like regardless of, you could fill in the blank of whatever politician, but it's like you can kind of have like open scandal, and if your own people like do enough covering your own if your own people do enough like throw like background check
brown nosing.
Yeah, thank you. That was the B phrase I was trying to do. And if they do enough CYA, like you can have these like open secrets, but like just stuff about like there's a crazy have you heard of there's like a low-key it's not really conspiracy theory, but there's like a list of people that have mysteriously died in relation to the Clintons.
Yep.
It is
that
a crazy list. Should we look it up or just, I guess we don't have to. Or like all the stuff with, Hunter Biden, Trump's got so much stuff. That was another thing. Like one thing that got me a little bit into more into politics is like, one, I should be aware of some basic stuff. Plus, it's so interesting because a lot of people that even that me and you probably know personally, um, consider like Trump to be like God's like chosen one, essentially for the time.
Yeah.
So like a guy that we know, and I really decently respect faith wise, is like, yeah, for this certain time, like Trump is not the chosen one, but he's the chosen man to lead us at this time. It's like I said I was telling when you were speaking earlier, I was like, I'm not gonna bring this up, not gonna bring it up, but
All right, so let's bring it up.
so this Netflix series is called House of Cards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Kevin Spacey plays this guy Frank Underwood. So he starts out as I think a governor, and then moves up to vice president and then president. And I'm on the last season, so on a random note, it's such a bummer to find like a good show that has like all good seasons from start to finish. But House of Cards was so cool because like for the first 3 or 4 seasons, it's like well known. And Well Players is one of the best TV shows of all time. The reason why I want to watch it because it was, like I said, it was kind of aligned with like what I was interested to at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I'm like, I need to watch a series where it's not like horror and it's not action and it's not sci-fi or conspiracy. It's very like it's just talking really for 98% of the show. But then I just finished season 5, and there's this because I'm like, I was looking up on Reddit. I'm like, why is this like so? Why are all the what are the factors that why people like don't like the last 2 or 3 seasons? Because there's 6. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Yeah.
And then an episode after that, like Frank Underwood as president is like walking down the stairs with his Secretary of State, and she's not like, there's a chance he's going to get impeached, and she's not like brown nosing him, essentially. That's a good word, a good phrase. I need to remember that because it will be it's a good one to have in the chamber. So he just shoves her down the stairs. And then she gets knocked out and then goes to the hospital. I was like, damn, this really ain't realistic. You can't just like it's so crazy, dude.
Honestly, that sounds pretty realistic.
But it's cool because as he's going up the ladder to president, because he doesn't become president until the second season, but just like a couple of the people that he like props in front of him as like just like tools for his own manipulation, and just like he's corrupt president, whatever, because he has to kill a couple people because they know too much or whatever, and it's just like, oh man, this is so interesting.
Like you do.
And at the time, so the main character, Kevin Spacey, he had to leave in season 5 basically, or at the end of season 6, because he had like all these like sexual assault allegations with like young dudes. So they kill him off in the show. I haven't gotten to that point yet. But so his like wife becomes like vice president and all this stuff. But where it started to get a little out of hand was when in the 4th season he's like running for re-election, and he's like going up against and he's doing all these debates with this Republican, this guy Will Conway or whatever. Doesn't matter. But basically they have like problems with like the votes or whatever. So the presidency gets suspended for a couple months, and in these couple months all this stuff happens. I'm like, this like couldn't really happen in real life, because basically they had to do like a revote of like these 2 states or whatever. And but it all builds up to basically that, like, all this stuff. So it was just so cool because like when I'm watching this, I just the acting and just the dialogue, man, is incredible. Just of how this guy Frank Underwood is just a sociopath. Like he's just gonna do whatever he can in his whatever he wants to do. And like it's really cool too at the end of the seasons. I know I'm kind of going on a tangent about this, but
You do like your tangents.
yeah, I know. Jesse said we could call this the Tangent Podcast. But I just think it's interesting because it just made me, I'm like, oh, this is just so cool because it's like, it's fantasy or whatever, it's just fiction, but I'm like, it's in like kind of a, it's in a possibly real world, but, once again, shoving your Secretary of State down the stairs is nuts. But I think this woman was supposed to like resemble like a Hillary Clinton at the time. And, there are videos where Kevin Spacey is also like has ties and is close with like the actual Clintons, and they love the show or whatever. Bless you.
Thank you.
And it's interesting. I just like, dude, that magic of just getting a show and just like diving in, man. It's just amazing. It's just incredible. Are you watching any stuff these days?
Let me think. What did I watch recently? I watched the movie Dune.
Ooh, nice.
That was
the part one.
Yeah, the part one. My
Paul
boss had been
Atreides.
like, he'd been hounding me for a long time. It's like, hey, so you seen Dune yet? You see Dune yet? And then I'm like, all right, I'll take this opportunity and I think it was a holiday or something. I don't remember. Somewhere in January, I watched it and it was like, okay.
Chris, that director, like me and Scott love him.
Mm-hmm.
So his name's Denis Villeneuve. So I don't know if you're familiar with him or whatnot, but he did the movie Arrival. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I saw it with you in theaters.
Really? It was us?
Yeah.
Dang. So
I don't remember who else was there, but I know you were there. Maybe
that's
Josh was there.
Dude, I remember walking away from that. I was like, whoa.
That was a cool movie.
Dude, the soundtrack for his movies, like Dune, obviously, like they won awards for that. He did this movie Prisoners, which is like a dark crime, with Hugh Jackman, and also is Hugh Jackman. I saw him in doing an interview, and what is his accent? Is he Australian? Or I thought he was.
So.
I didn't realize he has like a weird accent. I'm like, I didn't realize that he's like putting on accents when he's doing his films.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did Arrival, man. He did Dune. He did this movie Prisoners, man. I would highly recommend it. It's like I said, a gritty dark crime with Jake Gyllenhaal, and what's his name? Paul Dano. Dude, I think that movie Prisoners is like top 5 my movies all time. I think I already did a top 5 movies with some of my friends, probably with Scott. But let's do that real quick. Actually, I thought there was also one other movie by Denis Villeneuve, if I'm saying it's because he's a Frenchman. So
Who knows how you pronounce that then?
But I just remember everything this guy does, man, is freaking incredible. And he's really, I think he did like Blade Runner 2049, which is cool. I watched it, but because Ana de Armas was in it. Also, something amazing. Speaking of another tangent, dude. Oh, do you like the John Wick movies?
I have not seen the John Wick movies.
Oh, well, whenever you're in an action movie, dude. So it's basically like it's just like. As my dad would say, shoot 'em up, kill 'em up, action fighting.
Correct.
Yeah. But, dude, they're doing a spin-off series with Ana de Armas as the main character. I was like, huh? Oh, my God. She's my hall pass.
If you say so. Just leave that there.
Denis. Give me your top 5 movies, Chris.
Top 5 movies? I have no idea.
Oh, Sicario. Oh, yeah. Sicario is this is all these are all dope, bro. I forgot about Sicario. I haven't watched some of these other ones.
Yeah. I mean, some of my favorite movies, like I definitely liked Arrival. That was a real one I really enjoyed. I really like the Lord of the Rings movies. Those are classics. Just recently we watched those with some folks, and it was so good.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the the New Year's Eve filler I did with Josh. We talk a lot of Lord of the Rings CGI. You should check it out. Get up my numbers and follow me on Spotify.
There's nothing like shilling out your own podcast to the guest while you're making one.
I know that is terrible, but hey.
But it was interesting, like rewatching those movies. Like I'm actively rereading the book series as well. I'm just starting the second book, the Two Towers, and it's like watching through those again. I'm like, wow, there's so many just small details that are missing that I would love to see.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought, sorry. I thought you were going the other way. Yeah.
No, it's just a lot of. I understand. Obviously, you can't. Adapting a book to a movie there's going to be things that get left all over the place, especially. I mean, even with like 4-hour long movies, they still have to cut out a lot. But there's, many small points. Like there was I really like when the Fellowship. When they enter the woods of Lothlorien, and then they encounter an elf Haldir who like guides them in, and that whole sequence.
Yeah, Haldir obviously in the books did not go to Helm's Deep. But that was a nice touch, though. That's where I saw that. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, and
But
I realized like I really like those movies, and those are probably the best movie adaptations of books. But like.
And yet they're
still not perfect adaptations. There's a lot of good things, but there's still a lot of like small details missing. And it's just it's a shame is what it is.
Yeah.
But those movies are still phenomenal.
Yeah. Dude, you know what just popped up into my head the other day? National Treasure. Oh man. I remember me and Aaron used to. Aaron says hi, by the way. He was doing drums for my album yesterday, so I went down to Gardner, and he has like a setup. So he says hi. He'll be on soon.
Yeah, I play games with him every so often.
Oh, do you, dude? His kid is so cute. He like talks in full sentences now. It's great. He's in like a Lego face, and I was like, he's like kind of more like quiet spoken, but I was like. Paxton, if you get if I next time I come back, I'll get you some Legos.
Legos are great. I just put together a what was it? It was a little bonsai tree. My brother had gotten
bonsai
me for Christmas. Yeah, it's like a small little tree. It's like a Japanese. They'll do it for like a kind of like a meditative practice where you kind of like prune bonsai trees. But I got a Lego one. Which obviously I don't have to trim, but they're neat little trees. Yeah, that one, that's kind of a more iconic bonsai tree like that one. But there's different kinds as well.
Yeah, you can buy these, right? Because oftentimes with FedEx, like it'll be like caution, fragile, live plants inside.
I actually got my sister like a bonsai growing kit for Christmas this year.
Yeah, how does it feel to be an uncle? By the way, I haven't met her kid yet, Susie, right?
Yeah, it's weird. She just had her first birthday. She's 1 now. That's crazy.
Wow. That's crazy. I haven't seen her. Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Going back to Lord of the Rings, because I could always talk about it. It is so funny, man, how it's like that's considered what I don't know if you directly said this or implied it. Just how that could be arguably the greatest film adaptation series of all time. And it's like, dude, think about it. There's no scouring of the Shire. And me and Josh are both like, I shouldn't say just me and Josh, but that's such an important part of the series, And when it comes to, Shane and Dan have always been like aware of Lord of the Rings and respected it, but Shane went on a little bit of a thing for a while where did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
No.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the things where like I said I wasn't gonna watch it because there was like so much sex and all this other stuff, but then it's like, oh, I kind of want to. I was actually interested in the plot, so I got through it several seasons, but overall, just getting back to my point is that some of my friends, they will name named at the time. But they're like, oh, yeah, Game of Thrones is better than Lord of the Rings. I'm like, watch your heathen mouth, dude. Because, what was it? Lord of the Rings was like the 50s, right? Or what? No, it was earlier.
The books?
No, it must have been the 30s. Because during World War II, right?
30s to 40s sounds about right.
Yeah.
That
That reminds me, even though it's terrible, I need to watch the second season of Lord of the Rings on Prime. Why is it escaping my mind? It's like not very good, like story wise, and the dialogue is awful, but it looks amazing. Hartling won't even watch an episode. She's like offended by it. Anyways, yeah, man. So did you have anything that you wanted to talk about coming on? I know we were just kind of jumping around, and I was just throwing topics at you, and you were just doing your best to
flow with the punches.
Go with the flow. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I've known you for a few years.
Yeah, a couple.
I did want to ask, like,
Yeah.
what caused you to start this podcast? Let's get meta. Let's talk about the podcast we're on right now.
Please,
Please,
yeah.
What really drove you to make this podcast?
So shout out to Abigail Sontag and Jessica. I don't know if I'm not big enough that I care to censor. Sometimes I just name drop people and I'll do their full name. Like, I guess,
Yeah, I
unless
noticed
they're
that.
on here, unless they're on here, more people. Well, I've asked a lot of people. You know what?
I know you're listening,
should I call-
Jesse.
Yeah. You know who I'm gonna call out? I'm gonna call out Graham Birch right now. He wouldn't come on. He's too scared I'm gonna grill him. I think it would have been an amazing episode, but it's just not for him or whatever. I'm gonna bleep out his name actually in case. Well, no, I don't want to. Because am I a little in my feelings about it? Yeah. Do I totally understand why? Yeah, I get it. Not everyone wants to come on, so I wanted to have my uncle on, who was a pilot, and he has this crazy story about when he was flying a 4-star general and he was getting shot at in a plane. I was like, how?
That seems like quite the story.
And he doesn't want to come on because he doesn't want to be online.
Well, tangents aside, back to the original question.
Thanks for keeping me honest. So Jesse and Abby were the ones who they're like, oh, you should do a podcast. And now, everyone has a podcast, and what can I add to the whole shtick or the whole catalog that is podcasting? Because now there's I heard there's something like there's 8 million podcasts on Apple.
I'd believe that.
Yeah. I listen to a ton of podcasts now. I started listening to podcasts when I was like a year or two into doing Amazon. And then, I really like this comedy podcast called Flagrant 2 with Andrew Schultz and Akash Singh.
But what about this podcast?
Chris, I'm getting there. Sorry. Why did I want to do it? I just wanted to do it for fun. Honestly, a big part of it is to, I think, with this go hands in hand. So getting the laptop and whatever, because I do all my music on there. It's like a big help for my mental health. And I think when I was going to, well, I still do go to therapy. I had to, my insurance hasn't fully covered everything. So I have to now pay out of pocket all the time. Shout out to my limited benefits with FedEx. But I just, I like creating, man. It's always been fun. Even think about this, you probably think this is another tangent. Dude, remember Friend Info Alike and The Animal?
Oh, yep.
The script me and you wrote in 8th grade that I still have typed out?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's always been fun and been creative and just learning some of this stuff. Because, dude, I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I can't be doing FedEx for much longer. It's beating up my body. So this is just fun, man. And I think some of the podcasts, too, that I do, now that I did, I think I mentioned this to you over text. Every 5 episodes, I do, third wheeling. And then every 10, I have, me and, 3 or 4 of the, I call it the bunker boys, but, all the, that old, all the Casey Drive people,
Yep.
And So that's kind of why. So it's just for fun. And if I get more subscribers and whatever, I would like to eventually go to like 2 cameras and whatever. And like I said, I'm just.
Well, we can dynamically go from viewpoints.
Yeah, that's what. But just the editing for that is a living
That gives
hell.
me flashbacks to Josh doing school videos with him.
Oh,
wanting to
dude, come
do
on.
the
That was
same-
fire, dude. That was amazing. Even
He was doing the same scene multiple times so we could get different camera angles for the edit.
Yeah,
That got me.
but that's why you don't have to do that. You just I filmed this of Chris saying this, and then it's just a ton of little mini videos. He didn't get that though. Isn't that interesting?
I mean, I get what he was going for, but we only had one camera. That was the problem.
Exactly.
But yeah, that'd definitely be cool. Getting some cameras. You could even like, if you want to be real fancy, you could get like a neon sign with like your look. No, I meant like your logo, but that's pretty good too. That's
Yeah.
a
So
start.
I don't know. I need to hang this up. I'm trying to figure that out. But yeah, I do want to. I mean, shout out to. I love the location where I'm at, but also it'd be nice to have like my own space where I didn't have to go to. Because I'm like, sometimes depending upon who I have on and whatever, every once in a while, sometimes someone's like, hey, could I bring like a drink on or whatever? And I don't feel any pressure one way or the other, but it's like, I don't know if I like want to. Everyone's like bringing beer into the basement of the church, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing it. Was that a sufficient answer?
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
It's literally just for fun.
just the kind of the creative outlet.
I also think it would be super cool to look back on, dude, and like all the convos I was having when I was 20. Like sometimes if I'm super bored, if I'm super bored, well, I only did it once or twice because like I'm checking out the audio levels, but sometimes I'll be like on my. I'll just be doing my work there at the gym, and then I'll be listening to something, another podcast, and then you'll hear like my intro music, and I was like, oh yeah, it's mine. You know, it'll just play my own stuff. But on my Spotify subscribe, I'm curious. This is another thing. It's like, how much effort do I really want to put into it? Because now I was renting this out. I'm months behind. I honestly don't think they weren't using this for anything. So not that I don't want to pay. That is a lie. I don't want to pay. I don't think I have to pay. But so it's just like a little thing after. So I have actually, I've always had these 4 mics that I got from Dan Toms. But then just little things like I need to pick up actually another mic holder. But I picked up these arms, and then this is an old monitor, and then I just bought this one because I had an interface that was just two little inputs that I still have. It's from David, but doing podcasts now with four people and stuff, and trying to link up the audio. It's fun. It's good stuff, man. And like people just like, I like talking to people as well. But also one thing I try to do is that even though I love having conversations with people as well, I'm not going to act like I know all this stuff. I know stuff about politics, or I know stuff about faith, and I try to bring that into a lot of the conversations I have with people. But I'm still to update you on that, because you're probably curious. I'm still a little church homeless right now, so I'm going to one church, and then every couple months I'll drop by here. And like I said, I missed you the other day because you were busy. But it's a bummer, man, that there's no more, like, you can't find any more drummers or another pianist, because like I know that the amount of worship leaders that you guys have. It's tough, man. It's tough going up there every Sunday and whatever. And honestly, it's been a long time, man. I was actually, when I was going to say, I'm like, hey, Graham, come to a podcast and we'll go hang out or whatnot. I was thinking of offering to maybe do a Sunday at Light of the World, throw it back, when you're there and everything.
It is funny you say that about going up every week, but I feel like more often than not, when I'm there and I'm not playing, it's like I want to be playing.
Really?
Yeah. This song needs some percussion.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that doesn't happen often. Usually I'm playing when I'm there. So
yeah. No, that's That's true. I just had a time where I just kind of burnt out, and it was no one's fault. And that wasn't, like I said, when I left Light of the World, it was on good terms, man. It wasn't for any one specific reason. That's when probably I was starting to have a couple mental health like issues and whatever, but overall it was fine.
Yeah. So why do you think you're so, maybe not resistant, not the right word, but hesitant to go consistently to a church?
Oh no, I think that's a great question. Thanks for that. I feel like here's the part where I will call myself out. I feel like if I'm not in a church as much, if I'm not in a church as much, like overall, like there, I'm sure, to quote some, rightfully so, like popular scripture, it's like, don't forsake the assembling of the saints. Mm-hmm. So right now, I think I go to church like two times a month. I think it's just a current here's where I probably won't give you a good satisfying answer, unfortunately.
Okay.
I think I'm getting back to just stuff that happened here and like with some other places and other like spiritual mentors in my life. I just kind of got like, I've never mentioned it. If you're ever curious, I can tell you off air. But it's just I had a time where I had some church hurt and I like wasn't in a great spot. And but overall with all those things is that I love Light of the World. I just kind of wanted to change. I felt like too with some of the when it came to my own skill, like I thought I was going to be like a worship pastor or whatever. Maybe, who knows, maybe that'll happen. I'm not ruling that out at all. I also think too, on a side note, that I was probably a little bit too interested in the titles at the time and what I could do for God. But I'm very much, I need to get back into it because just, dude, like I feel like, to be honest, like not that I've been out here partying for 2 years and doing coke or whatever. Ooh. But I definitely, sorry to give you a 90-second answer, but I just
you're good.
I just wanted a change, and then when I went to some other churches, it's just tough, man, because it's like I don't want to be the person who's like, I didn't like this church because of that or whatever, because it's like it's kind of like what I don't know if it was Reagan or Clinton that's like, don't think about what your country can do for you, like try to do what you can do for your country, and that's all about churches. So I think with Light of the World, just dude, like I've been there for 25 years, and on a really funny note, dude, it would be nice to like. There's no future wife for me at Light of the World either, so I might not keep that in or whatever. We'll see. Yeah, was that a good explanation? Was there anything else? Because I think
that makes
going
sense.
down that road, I think you do have a great point. It's like, dude, as someone who I like to lead with that. Overall, I feel like I am, but I also want to be passionate about my faith. It's like, cool, you want to be passionate about your faith, but yet you don't want to be in those areas all the time, which is not the reason why. I'm different than I was now, because now I'm at the point where I was one of our friends, close friends, David Marshall. I was doing a Bible study with him in Madison for a while, and it's just been, they're moving and whatnot, so they just don't have the time right now.
Yep.
And David got like a new promotion or whatever, and so I'm just airing out everyone's businesses. Sorry, I love them though. They're actually supposed to be the next. It's either them or Rob and Amelia that are going to come and do third wheeling. But yeah, man, I think for what like God's telling me, it's like don't forsake the assembling of the saints, because there's so much. I don't know, if you love God, you love His people, and loving the church is quite a task at times. Not because everyone's bad or whatever, but it's like it's family. There's good times and bad times, but I want to be consistent in all those things, And I don't want to be in a good way, man. I still have, I actually have, I have mentors still. Like Ben Paquin is my capital M mentor. Um, and then I check in. I don't check it here and there with some other people that we both know. But yeah, I've been recently to. I think this would be you maybe have some interesting thoughts. A close friend of mine, a guy that you know as well, has been lovingly like pressing my intake to like why I'm a Protestant essentially and whatnot, and not Catholic. So I've been trying to, it's always been an interesting relationship with this one person because we've always been able to talk about God and our passions. But now, like farther down the road, me especially too, we're at the point where like I'm believing what I'm believing, and this person is in their camp. I'm always cool to meet in the middle, and I think one sign of spiritual maturity is like being able to like listen to views that aren't your own and still have dialogue and conversations.
Yeah.
Because I feel like personally, man, as a Christian, I was never called to win arguments. I was called to serve and lay your life down. So, there was another tangent. Hey guys, post-production Ben here. I decided to cut the audio at the end because there was just a little bit of reverb. Me and Chris were basically done. It was just, I lost like 2 or 3 of the last couple minutes there. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.